Hey guys, Andrethefarmer here, and today I want to show you guys how to air layer. I'm going to show you guys step by step. You've probably seen me open some air layers before, but I'm going to show you the process from beginning to end and how we do it. It's pretty simple. Anybody can do it, and you can do it on any woody tree. If you don't know what air layering is the process by which you take a branch and you create roots on that branch, and then you can cut that branch off and you create a clone of the original tree. So any tree that you have that you like and you want to have a second tree, you can do that with air layering. For me, a lot of times I'll have a branch like this that is sort of going out of control or going off the tree into a different area that I don't want it to go. And normally I would just cut this branch off and throw it in the compost or whatever. But you can actually make a whole brand new tree that is a clone of your original tree, and it's a mature tree from day one. It's ready to fruit right away if your tree's already fruiting. So let's get started. We're gonna start with our air layer. And basically the first step is we're gonna cut a little groove. We're gonna find the point where we want the roots to start, and we're gonna cut a groove all the way around. We're gonna try to cut right through the bark in a circle. Mosquitoes. Shouldn't wear shorts today. All right, so we've cut a groove all the way around. We're gonna cut a second groove about an inch away from that, all the way around. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you kind of want a groove so you know where your boundaries are. And now we're going to remove the bark in that segment that we've just cut. Between those two grooves, we're going to remove the bark. And we're also going to remove the cambium, which is the layer directly underneath that. Because if we leave the cambium on there, what's going to add a little green layer underneath, it's going to just heal. And you're just going to get new bark growing. We don't want new bark to grow. We want this thing to produce roots. We want to believe that it is underground and it's cut off from the other segment. So we're going to do all of the things to simulate that. And there we go. I think we've got it all off. So now we're just going to scrape that to make sure we've got the cambium off. We want to get down to that nice smooth wood. That's when we know that we're all the way clean. And when I first started doing this, that was my number one mistake, was not getting deep enough. You know, you don't want to hurt your tree and you're trying to be cute. Now, when you're doing a really thick, heavy branch, you gotta be careful, because if you make your branch too weak, it could break off with the wind. But you do small branches. Small branches are easier to do, especially in the beginning for you, and you're gonna have more success with smaller branches. You know, I have a few big ones that I've done that have succeeded, but the failure rate is much higher with a big branch than a small branch. So try to use your small branches. You're gonna get a small little tree, but it's a mature tree right from day one. So we've got a pretty good, we have a little piece there. There we go. So we've got a pretty good removal of the bark there. Our next step is we're going to add a rooting agent. Now we can use honey, we can use aloe, we can use cinnamon, or we can just use rooting powder. I have rooting powder that I got on Amazon. It works very well. It's easy to use. Now I just take my finger and just smear that around. And I really want to focus on this part here at the end here, because this is the side where the roots are going to come from, the side that's more distal from the main branch. And you can smear that on. There's no amount that's too much, so don't worry about putting too much. And then we've got a bag here. Now we can use capsules that you can buy on Amazon. Don't have any around me right now, but you can use a plastic bag. You don't have to buy anything special. It's a regular Ziploc bag. And all we're going to do is pour a little bit of moisture in here. We have some peat moss. We fill it with peat moss. We're going to add a little bit of water in here. Not to really soak it, but just to sort of get it moist. We want to have a little bit of moisture in there, but we don't want it sort of dripping wet with water. We just kind of want it to be a little bit moist inside that bag. We're going to add a little bit more. Alrighty, so we've got a nice moist bag here. We're going to go ahead and seal that bag up. And all we're doing is just closing the bag. There we go. Got our bag full of moist peat moss here. Got it pretty full. Now we're gonna get our grafting knife, and we're just gonna cut a slit down the middle of the bag on one side, right across, just like this. So now we have a big slit in the bag, and we put this right over our air layered area or our cut area that we just did. And now we get our grafting, our regular tape. You can use plastic wrap, which is what I usually use, or you can use tape. tape works really good because it's a little easier to manage, and also it provides a little darkness in there, which helps increase your success rate. So we're gonna wrap that up, and it's best to pre-cut a piece of tape because it's really hard to use one hand to do that and the other hand to sort of pull the tape off. So you gotta pull a piece of tape off previously, or else you're gonna be in a bind. Unless you have two people helping you, then it's a lot easier. I'm gonna get another piece here. I'm gonna wrap that up. And I like to seal it up pretty good because the ants like to get in here. And on the ends, I'm just gonna seal that up. I'm gonna tape that up a little bit better, but I don't wanna bore you with that. But last but not least, you have to label these things. You gotta put the date on it. Otherwise, you're not gonna remember when you did it. So this is April 8th, 23. I'm gonna put that label on there, and I'll know in about 3 months, I can go in there and check that, and I should have roots here, and then I'll just cut this branch off, put it in a pot, and I've got a brand new lychee tree. All right, if that helped, hit the like button, subscribe. There's plenty more to come, all right? See you guys, bye.